This is 22 Nonprofits in 22 Days, brought to you by Operation Intel Veteran Stories.
Welcome back to 22 Nonprofits in 22 Days. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I made the mistake and thought today was Monday. That's how my weekend went. It was hectic with the kids and everything. And then Sunday with the Super Bowl. I hope your guys' team won. I know one guy in our group, his team won, the Seahawks. I did not catch the game, but I heard it wasn't too close, which is usually in the Super Bowl you want a close game, or at least I did. I'm an Eagles fan, so I hope everybody is having a good night. That is one handsome guy right there, Nick. Don't, you know. The Rich Brown is coming out, right? Sorry about last night, guys. Had some family stuff come up. Hope you guys, we're looking forward to the show tonight. We have a really good guest, coming up. Make sure you guys are sharing this with everybody on your friends list. We want to make sure that this gets out to as many veterans as it possibly can, because you never know who this may help, right? You know, one thing that I always like to do before I bring the nonprofits on is welcome those who are new. And the reason why I do that is because if you haven't seen here in the last, few shows, we're starting to get a few people trickle in and watch. But once they get a feel of our community, they start showing up every single night. They start liking the community. And that's a big thanks to you guys. That has nothing to do with me, because a lot of the times I can't even see what's going on in the chat. I'm busy trying to talk to the guests and stuff like that. But the reason why I started Operation Intel Veteran Stories was because I was going through a dark time in my life where, going through a divorce, and my dad just passing away, losing my job. It was probably one of the darkest places in my life. And I had which is so weird to say, but I had a conversation with my 11-year-old, and I was like, do you think people would want to hear from veterans? And she said, you should do it. So I started reaching out to some of the guys in my group. I started talking to some of the guys in my group, and a big shout out to them, because they never once made me have to go looking for them. They really stepped up and they said, I want to do this. I want to share my story. And I never had to go looking for them. And that opened up into a group call, which we did one Saturday, and I opened up the group call on Facebook Messenger, and it was all the guys that I had served with, the faces that I had seen so many years ago, and the voices. The voices are what got me the most, and I just sat back and I just smiled. That grew into the Rally Point, which is our Sunday night show. I think last night was the first time we missed, and I think I've missed 2 shows since like September or something. Where we go over the week. It's a nice place to kind of hang out and be a community. But more so than that, I got into showcasing a nonprofit of the week. And I had an idea after having a couple guests on to do a 22-hour stream. And one of my buddies, Nick, which you guys will see in the chat, said, your main audience ain't going to be up in the wee hours of the morning. So we came up with the idea of 22 nonprofits in 22 days. And last week was our first week. It was amazing. I mean, the nonprofits that we're showcasing on this show are grassroots, working their butts off for veterans. We all have the same mission, though. The platform that we have created is just helping in the mission of 22 a day. That's way too many. One is too many. Do I think we're going to get it down to zero? No, I don't think that'll ever happen, unfortunately, right? But I think the one thing we can do is reduce it by a lot. And we've kind of went over why I think that happens. It's because of the isolation. I think veterans feel isolated a lot of the times. They feel like they have nobody that understands them. And when that, because I felt it myself. So when that happens, I think that, unfortunately, that's when veterans take their own lives. What we have created on this platform is a place where veterans can feel free to talk to people that will listen and people that understand, and it's helped out a lot. Now, couple that with the nonprofits that are doing work every single day to help with just about anything you can think of. We've had, outdoors, we've had female veterans, we've had just the list goes on. And I cannot wait to see. I mean, we're only on episode 6 right now. I can't wait to see at the end of 22 where we stand. I know a lot of veterans are being touched by this, which is nice. But there's still work to be done. Speaking of doing work, today's guest is somebody that is an amazing person, has an amazing cause, and I've talked to her a little bit here and there through messages and stuff. I'm really interested to hear her story. I got to talk to her for just a little bit before we went live. But the work that they are doing is amazing, and I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. Tonight's guest is the Blue Star Mothers down there, and I believe it's Baton Rouge. Those Louisiana people, I'm telling you right now, the Louisiana people right now are doing absolutely great work, and they show up for their veterans. And one of those people showing up for their veterans is Denise Singleton, president of the Blue Star Mothers there in Baton Rouge, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
See, I knew it. My brain isn't working today. We've already established that, haven't we?
We're going to be okay.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to be here. Yeah, just real happy to be here.
You had reached out through one of the comments, and it was funny because I remembered seeing it and I had liked it, and then about 3 or 4 days later, I was going back through all the comments, which is a lot, by the way, okay, trying to find your comment. I finally had figured it out which one it was on, and I reached out to you. But I want to hear your story. Give us a little bit of an introduction to who you are. What do you do? I know you sent me the bio and stuff like that. I want to hear about who you were before you started this. And I also want you to tell the viewers an interesting fact about your father, who I thought this was neat. I read it and I was like, the viewers have got to hear about this.
So my name is Denise Singleton, as Tim introduced me. I am in sales, have been in sales my whole career. Absolutely love it. And I believe I was born to do that. I have 2 sons. My oldest is a United States Marine. He stepped on the yellow footprints January 11th of 1999. His little brother was just going into high school, so it was me and Josh trying to figure out how to navigate those uncharted waters. Honestly, I tried to negotiate with Travis, my oldest, and say, just give me 1 semester at LSU. He's a smart guy. And I just knew he was going to go to LSU. He was going to fall in love with it. We let him have their own apartment, him and 5 of his friends. You know, you should not do that first semester, but anyway, he gave me that one semester, and then he came and he said, "Okay, I'm still going in the Marines." So,
Oh my goodness.
um, so there you go. That's where our journey started. Um, and obviously, he knew a little bit more than I do because he's still serving. So yeah, we live here in a small community that is 100% behind our military. It shows up in everything we do. We're not even incorporated. We're just a little bitty community that has grown exponentially in the last 20 years. And we have never wavered from what we believe in. And you would be uncomfortable if you came here and tried to. So that is part of our story here in the Deep South, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I didn't even know what a Blue Star Mom was when Travis joined the Marine Corps, so that was this is totally it was totally different to me. I didn't know about it until after he had returned from the ground war. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. But um, Blue Star Moms has been around for a really long time. I don't know if everybody
Yeah.
is aware of that or not, but it started with World War II in 1942. There were two, I'm going to refer to my notes a little bit because I don't want to misquote anything. There was a retired Army captain, George Humphrey Maines, who conceived the idea after a conversation with General John Pershing. And they believed that if they could maintain the morale of the mother, then they would be able to maintain the morale of their soldiers. Knowing that we were the driving force to keep our kids head in the game, if you will. That's the best way that I know to phrase that. So 1942 is when moms came together and they volunteered with care packages. They served in the hospitals. They were waiting at the train stations. They were doing all of the things that we're still doing today. In 1960, we were congressionally chartered. And I'm not going to wear this all night, but that is why we get to wear our garrison hat. If you're not sure what a Blue Star Mom looks for, look for the white garrison hat. But I did have the opportunity to have a conversation this week with our national president. Her name is Karen Stillwell. She's from Columbus, Ohio, and
Good
she
people
did
up in here, up in
yeah,
Ohio, I heard.
yes, I'm finding that out anyway. She did offer a statement. Would you indulge me to just read her statement, please?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is from Karen Stillwell, our national president. She says, behind every statistic is a son or daughter who has once raised their hand to serve, and a family who continues to carry the weight of that service long after the uniform comes off. Military families live with the lasting effects of deployment, transition, and invisible wounds that are not always seen, but deeply felt. At Blue Star Mothers of America, we believe that it's not just about a number, it's about connection, compassion, and action. It is about recognizing the signs, reducing stigma, encouraging conversations, and reminding our service members, our veterans, and their families that they're not alone. Awareness must lead to support. Support must lead to hope. And hope begins when we as a nation and as communities commit to standing beside our military families every single day, not just in the moments of crisis, but all throughout their journey. And that is who we are. That is what we do. We stand firm in that belief. And every chapter serves a little bit differently. There are 200 chapters throughout the United States, a little more than 200 actually. Here in Louisiana, we started 21 years ago this January. There are two other chapters here in Louisiana, and everybody serves a little bit differently. But our founder decided to open this chapter when her son was called to war. Y'all excuse if you can hear my little 14-year-old chihuahua, but she thinks it's bedtime. So, so anyway, her name is Janet Broussard. She's a remarkable woman, a strong leader. Her son Mark was called to war, and she needed some place to channel that energy. And so she discovered Blue Star Mothers through a friend. I was invited to a care packaging event. I too had all this anxiety, and back then we didn't have the technology. That was, I guess, Travis's first bad deployment was 2003, and so you were told not to even watch the news. Like they would call, and when they got that 2 minutes and say, "Mom, do not turn on the TV,
Yeah.
find something else to do." Thank God we didn't have all the social media then that we do now. But anyway, it was a great opportunity to start something absolutely phenomenal here in Baton Rouge. And we are, again, 21 years strong. But our tagline, if you will, is that we support through service. So we work. We work hard and we work tirelessly. And the objective is to keep to the very forefront of our community. Hey guys, we got skin in the game.
Yeah.
And when you got skin in the game, it changes your perspective. So I am a talker, so you're gonna have to shut me up if you have
Oh
a
no.
question.
You know,
But
one thing that just came to me was Blue Star Mothers came to be, it seems like, to be like a community of mothers coming around each other and supporting each other while people their loved ones were deployed, right? Not only that, but like you said, the service member, when their mother is supporting what they're doing, you're going to get a lot better of a service member. I can guarantee you that. My grandma was behind me 110%. Now, my grandma's the one who raised me. But I find it interesting that we're doing the same exact thing, right? When we have like a veteran community and we're all together, we can talk to each other and understand each other. You mothers can talk to each other and you understand that feeling, because with me, I know, and I've said it a million times on the show, it was easy being deployed for me, but I couldn't imagine being a parent and having your son or daughter overseas fighting in a war. So what you guys are doing is amazing, but also you help each other out get through the tough times, I'm sure.
we do, and that's with our chapter in particular, and I won't speak for any others because I don't really know what everyone's mission is, and every chapter may focus strictly on care packages. We learned several years back, one of your guests you had the other night, Miss Christy Smith,
Love her.
started. Love everybody loves Miss Christy, but she started Be Our Soldier Outreach, and when we were first approached, our chapter was first approached with the idea of collaborating. It almost felt to some members like there should be a little bit of competition there. It's not about that.
No.
It's not about that at all. You have to remove self first, and you have to commit to the mission. And so we now gather up those supplies, deliver them to Miss Christie, help organize those warehouses, get them ready for the multitudes of volunteers that are going to show up for their care packaging events, and know that every single box has been filled with love and prayed over, and so why wouldn't we want to support that so that we could carry our mission another direction? It makes no sense that we
No,
wouldn't.
no, and you know the one thing, and I'll say this, that you people down there in Baton Rouge are doing right. You have Be Our Soldier Outreach. You got Books for Boots. It amazes me because when I talk to one of you three, you guys share each other's stuff. You guys comment on each other's stuff. You guys mention each other in everything you do, and it goes to show you why it's so successful down there in that Louisiana area. And that's what we want. We want these nonprofits to be working together instead of against each other, because when we start working together, you're going to see stuff like this. You're going to see more soldiers being impacted in good ways instead of soldiers falling through the cracks, because you have, and it's not all just the nonprofits, but nonprofits competing against each other, which
Makes no sense.
it makes no sense. You're
It
there
makes no
for the
sense.
veteran. Yes. So
That's right.
big
If
shout out to
that's
you
what
guys.
it's about, if it becomes about the competition, then it is no longer about the mission.
Thank you.
So the mission is to support our children, to support our other people's children, to support the war veteran that is living in the war veterans home, to embrace the children of these military families. I mean, we're all grandmothers except for Melissa. She's so young, but we all we all embrace it's the whole package. I love to say it's from the youngest military child to the oldest living veteran.
Oh, I love that.
And you should never waver from that, because it is, if they're not serving on the front lines, when you leave the military, there's still a connection that needs to remain strong.
Yes.
And you guys, you need a safe place to go and talk to one another. And this has really been the first year for me that I've never watched Saving Private Ryan, I'll tell you that.
Oh,
I've never, there were just so many things that, I couldn't get past the point where he was calling for his mom, It's
yeah.
like, I couldn't do that. But so I'm starting to read some books that are written by guys who served while you were serving, 2003, 2006. That was incredibly hard times. And
It was a little
when
iffy.
when Janet started this chapter, I will tell you that here in Louisiana alone, in 1 year, we lost 22
Yeah.
of our kids. And she realized very quickly that there was no one keeping a database. So we keep the database.
Incredible. I know.
Yeah.
We and I kind of wanted to go back for a second, because you said what was it, in 2011? Was it when your son joined, or not 2011, but January 11th? January 11th. So January 11th was this is kind of weird, because that was my entry date in 2006. But funny enough, January 11th is actually my cousin's birthday that passed away as well in Iraq. So January 11th is a big date for me, and I forgot all about saying that to you. But yeah, I thought that was neat, and I forget where I was going with that. But go ahead. I'm so sorry. I forgot completely about it.
That's okay. It is an important date. We have Blue Star Mother license plates here in Louisiana, and my number is 11. And people will ask me, why 11? Because that's the day.
Yeah.
That's the day that I handed my son over to the United States Marines. And it was significant. That was the day that I fought the tears when he walked up. Look, I'm telling you, the Marines don't play. They pulled up in my driveway and picked him up. I didn't get to take him to the airport. You know, it was a different time, but um and you have your meltdowns, and Janet, I hope she gets to see this. She's taking care of her father now, so she's got a full plate. But um, my first big meltdown, I guess, is the best way to put it, because that's what we do. Um, she on the phone, and she was like, "Okay, you get to stay there tonight. You get to stay there. Tomorrow morning, you get up, you take a hot shower, you put your makeup on, and you pull up your big girl panties, and you straight ahead. We've got work to do." And she's been a great leader to lay the foundations of the things that we do here in the Baton Rouge area. And I'd like to share some of those, because I think that it could lend maybe some ideas to other people, because we do some really significant things that people would be just amazed if they could see it.
Yeah,
Um,
one of the things I was gonna ask you was, I was wondering what were the things that you have been doing, right? Like I know you have different fundraisers and stuff like that, but I want to hear what you guys are actually doing. So feel free to share that with us, because if that helps any of you nonprofits out there, or even if you're a veteran and you want to attend one of these, like the chili, or the chili, that's up here in Ohio, the gumbo cook-off, which I was not able to attend,
right.
which I'm still mad about, by the way. Uh,
That's it.
you
Well,
can
thank
attend.
you.
You know what? I have no doubt down there. You guys have the best food in the world, and
I
I
promise
love it.
you, if you leave hungry, it's your own dang fault.
Yeah. So please share with us what you guys have done.
I will be happy to do that. So I'm going to start with the beginning of the year. So one of our missions that we do is for our war veterans. We adopted a one of the war veterans homes that's in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. So not that our chapter is truly confined to territories, but you do have areas of service that you try to direct your mission toward. Baton Rouge goes from New Orleans south to the Terrebonne parishes, west to the Acadiana parishes, and up to almost central Louisiana. We do have a chapter in Northeast Louisiana that covers most of that area. And then we have a chapter that is outside of Baton Rouge, and they focus on our rural communities, which desperately need that attention as well. But so we adopted the war veterans home that is in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, and we do socks of love. Often it's around Valentine's, Mardi Gras a little early this year with the king cakes. So we pushed it from February to March because there was so much going on this year. But we will go. We will spend an afternoon with them. One of the most important things that we do is, I mean, we play the bingo. We do the whole, give the door prizes. They love to win door prizes, but more than anything, they love to tell their stories.
Yeah.
They love to tell their stories. And for someone just to stop long enough to say, "Hey, tell me a little bit about yourself." Those guys set the course for our kids. And they don't need to forget that. They need to know what that means. And so their stories are important to us. And usually the nurses are saying, "Okay, ladies, it's time to go. We got to get, we got to move on to the next thing." So that's one of the things we do. We are very fortunate here because we have one major fundraiser a year. We are not we're not uh, where we have to do fundraisers all year long. If we do a fundraiser outside of the one we're raising money for ourselves, then we're raising money for other nonprofits. That's very important as well. But we are very blessed here that we have a sponsor who is our for one of our local news stations, and he's the sports director, and he hosts a big softball tournament every year. That's usually anywhere from 75 to 125 teams that come from all over the place to play. It's very competitive. And we work concessions because that's what moms do, right?
Uh,
We take care of the umpires. We do all of the things, and we also support like Gulf Coast that takes the veterans on hunting and fishing trips, and other organizations. This year it was Odin's Sons Veterans Club, who is, quite honestly, they're my muscle. They're the
what
guys that show up and help us load and unload and do all of the things. So
you will
we
see
want to,
them on the show, by the way. They're
yeah.
gonna be coming on here too, and
Oh my goodness.
I
I declared this past weekend that I am their den mother.
don't.
So they're stuck with me. They're not going to get away from me. But anyway, it was so we're very fortunate that way. But as we move into the spring, February 1st, we kick off our scholarship program. So we give five $1,000 scholarships to our active duty veterans, retired, um, National Guard, reserves. We accept those applications through April, and then we hand over the redacted copies to a committee from our community that is made up of business leaders, active duty veterans. We try to education, um, and so we try to bring everybody into the selection. And this year, we're proud to say, and I haven't even announced it publicly yet, but that we are going to increase those scholarships to 2,500. So
Oh
we'll give out
wow,
five $2,500 scholarships this year to commemorate the 250th
I love it.
anniversary.
I love it.
Yes. So yeah, we're very blessed this year. But we move right along from that to our high school seniors who are graduating high school, and we participate in a national organization called Our Community Salutes USA, and we have been hosting that ceremony here in Baton Rouge for about 14 years now. And we work directly with the recruiters. We do not work with schools. We work with the recruiters so that we have that connection there as well. And we usually have about 80 to 100 high school seniors that show up. We provide them the resources that they're going to need to get through the boot camp. We silently, because we're not trying to sell Blue Star Moms, but we
Yeah.
silently let those parents know that, hey, you've got a place. If you need help getting through this, then we want you to know that we're here for you. We bring in Be Our Soldier Outreach because she's going to be the one sending those care packages out. And Melissa's story, Michaela was injured going through boot camp. Whoever thought about the recruit?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it took a mama to figure that out. Um, so we bring her in as well, and they each leave with a book or two so that they've got something to carry with them. And this year, we're proud to say that we're going to have a representative from USAA so
Look
that
at
they
that.
are some financial responsibility as well.
I think
So
I think that is so smart, by the way. Um, I wish that somebody would have told me finances before I joined the military. Um, that's genius. But go ahead. I love that.
No, that's quite all right. I just remember the day that my first trip to 29 Palms, and that's where Travis was preparing for, the to go to the sandbox. And
Yeah.
so when I left off of that base, there was all these little companies that were like, um, you get money before you get your paycheck. I forget what they call those, but
A lot.
they would charge, yeah, this
Yeah. Allotments.
horrible amount of interest, and these, yeah, it was like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
don't ever do that, because everybody's got to learn, right? Everybody's got to make that.
I definitely
Oh mom,
did.
yeah, oh mom, I ran the credit card way up, or whatever.
Yeah.
But those payday loans, that's what they
That's
call
what
them.
it is. Yep.
Yeah, they were everywhere. So we spotlighted a couple of different financial institutions, but this year I thought it was very important that they learn about USAA, and we're very proud to bring them on this year as well. So we do that, and then we're moving into Memorial Day, right? That's our next big thing, and we have partnered with a group called For Our Fallen, and it is a group of our Louisiana Army National Guard active duty veterans, retired. We have a beautiful garden in front of our state capitol, and we are allowed the permit to have those 11,000 American flags, which represent our fallen from the American Revolution to present day. And those guys start at the LSU Memorial Tower, and they ruck march those flags to the moms and the community that are waiting there to plant them in the garden. And we read aloud the names of the fallen from 9/11 to present day. And if you remember, I said early on that we maintain the database. So when you're in combat, we're getting that information through the Department of Defense. But when it is not a combat casualty and it's a training accident
Yeah.
or a car wreck or suicide, that information isn't delivered to us. So we have to constantly work the internet to see, it's word of mouth sometimes, but we we are happy to help our Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs out whenever they have something that they want to host for our Gold Star families, but we maintain that database. And we work very closely with our Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs. I cannot speak more highly of them because they are out beating the bushes as well. That's a whole nother story. I won't get out with that. But so it is absolutely amazing to see. They come through the streets of downtown Baton Rouge, and the USS Kidd is docked on the Mississippi River. There's upwards of 200 of them in the Ruck March, and they come down the levee. And as they exit the levee, are motorcycle groups like the Patriot Guard Riders, the combat vets, the Odin Sons, who help us with all of our heavy lifting again and security that
Yeah.
we don't talk about a lot, but they greet them with the motorcycle escort to the Capitol. So it's about the last mile that they do, and then it's the big welcome. Welcome. They've got people just lining the streets, and if they're especially from the Vietnam era, they never saw that before.
Yes.
So we embrace our community, and by that, I'll tell you that we've had a 12-year-old girl sing the national anthem. Our children, our grandchildren lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Love that.
The the members of the community, if the Gold Star family is there, they have the option of reading aloud their own child's name. But if not, then we're going to pick it up, right? And we're
Yeah.
going to make sure that those names are read aloud. Because when we attend those funerals, and we do, every single active duty funeral of a fallen soldier, Marine, Airman, uh, Navy, Coast Guard, they, it doesn't matter the circumstances of their death. We're going to be there, and we're going to embrace that family and let them know that when everybody else goes away, we're still going to be there. And we're still going to speak those names aloud. And we are still going to tell their stories. And that's a solemn promise when you make it, standing in front of a casket, that you do not take lightly.
N-
And that's the same as our donations that come in. We have a huge responsibility
yeah.
for that money to make sure that it is used in the promise that we give, that we're going to use it. So it's full transparency, and we're 100% volunteer. And most of the nonprofits that I've seen on your show are 100% volunteer, and that's key. That is
Yeah.
that is key. I mean, not that the other nonprofits that have staff aren't important. I don't mean to take that away, but when you got people who are willing to give of their time,
They're choosing
it's
to be there.
they're choosing to be there. It speaks volumes to the soldier, to the Marine, to the airman, to the guy from the Navy. It they know that their service mattered. They don't have to doubt that anymore. And so it's a huge responsibility. And every single time that I am exhausted and I am like, I don't know if I can do this anymore, because when you preside over it, it is a full-time job,
Yeah.
and we are still working moms. I still have a full-time job.
Yeah, it's like
So
having two jobs.
it is, but it's that is not meant to be a complaint at all.
No.
But you do get exhausted by it, and but there's always that affirmation that always
Yeah.
comes to let you know that you are that we're doing the right thing, that we are making a difference.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that it goes overlooked a lot, and it goes right into what you're talking about, is there are sacrifices these volunteers make. You being one of them, right? And the reason why we wanted to do grassroots, okay, is because of this. When you choose to volunteer your time to help out a military family or a veteran, that says a lot about who you are as a person. And I think a lot of the times the grassroots nonprofits go overlooked, and it's like some of them struggle. They
Yes.
truly do. And they're out here in 30-degree weather doing a gumbo cook-off, right? I wouldn't want to be out in 30-degree weather. But they're doing this not because of them personally. They're doing it to help the veterans and the moms. And you know, I did not know that you guys attended the funerals of these soldiers and Marines and airmen, and that's incredible, because from somebody who has been to one of those funerals as a family member, that is one of the most difficult. See, I lost my cousin, and then we lost Sergeant Wright, and both of those were incredibly difficult. But when you go and you see the casket, and you see the Marine standing there with the casket and can't leave until that Marine is buried, it hits a little bit different, I'll tell you that. And the fact that you guys go there to support that family is, I can't say enough of Well, from somebody that's lost a family member, thank you for doing that because I know how much that means to these families from firsthand experience.
Someone would do it for us, and that's why we do it,
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
we know that at any given time it could be us. And
Yeah.
so we developed relationships with
Hmm.
these families over the years. And sometimes these big events, these huge platforms that we do on the grounds of the state capitol with media everywhere, and sometimes that's not where they are on their journey.
Hmm.
And so when you look up and you realize, hey, I don't see that family, then you know that you need to call them because they're in a different place and on the journey. It Grief never goes away.
No.
It just looks different from year to year, and you navigate the waters differently. But it is if we ever lose sight of our Gold Star families, then it's time to move on
I
because they
couldn't agree
they drive
more.
every single thing that we do. Every single thing that we do.
I'll tell you something. These and I've had uh, the privilege to be at some of these Gold Star events up here. When we lost my cousin, he died with 13 other Marines, and I've gotten a chance to. And since you are a Marine mom, you might want to check out, and this is for you guys in the chat too. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called The Eyes of Freedom. Have you ever seen that?
I have not. No.
So, I'll tell you a little bit about it just real quick, and then we'll keep moving on with your guys' events. But my cousin was part of Lucky Lima Company, 325th out of Columbus, Ohio, and they lost I want to say 25 guys or something like that in the span of it was a span of less than I think it was like 3 or 4 months. They lost a bunch of them. Well, there's this lady, her name's Anita Miller, and she was a painter in Columbus, Ohio. And she painted life-size portraits of these Marines that were lost. And what she didn't know is she had a dream about these paintings, and she painted them, and she put every single one of the guys with their friends group and had no clue that they were friends. It was unveiled at the rotunda at the Ohio State Capitol, and this is portraits that go all across the United States. And I got to meet the Ohio State football team because of it, because of a Gold Star family thing. And these Gold Star families are amazing, and the support that they give to each other and other organizations is amazing.
It truly is, and we are going to be very fortunate this year to have our national convention in Columbus, Ohio. So maybe I can make a connection, and yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all about networking. So
Let's see what we
um,
can do. I wanted to have I'm trying to get them on the show, The Eyes of Freedom. That would be really cool.
that would be phenomenal. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they're really good people.
to have 200 chapters in Columbus, Ohio of military moms, it would be amazing to meet her. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really.
Let me see
Um,
what I can do. If I can get I'll get a hold of my uncle. He knows her pretty well. Probably has her phone number somewhere. I'll try to get a hold of her. Amazing person. You've got to see these. If they're ever down there in that Louisiana area, you would love it. Maybe I can put you guys in contact, and maybe you guys
I
can
see.
hold an
I'm loving
event.
it. Yeah, connect the dots. That's what we're here for, right?
Exactly.
It's all about connecting dots.
I say this is my idea, guys. Okay, I say do an event with the Eyes of Freedom with Blue Star Mothers, another gumbo cook-off, and I'll be the judge.
All right, there you go. We have a plan. It was born right here on Operation Intel.
There we
Yeah,
go.
we can do that. I want to go back to the scholarships though, because I did
Yeah.
fail to say that our national organization has an auxiliary group. It's called the Big Dipper, and they also offer a scholarship program. It's for educational advancement, just like ours, but they embrace more than just the person serving. So the military child or the Blue Star mom who wants to, continue her education. So that if we can't help you here in Louisiana, then we're going to refer you to another organization that does offer those opportunities. It is amazing what happens when you start connecting dots.
Yeah.
It just truly, truly is. I'm gonna tell you a real quick story, and I know I talk a lot, but
No, I
we
love
do
it.
the we
2
do the
peas in a pod.
operation. That's right. And we knew it before we ever got on tonight.
We did. We
Uh,
did.
yeah, we do the Operation Stand Down every year at the VA hospital in New Orleans, and that's where it's complete networking. All these resource groups come together, and they provide the things that will prepare them for the winter. It's for the homeless veterans, and they have to be registered with the VA when they come through. The line is extremely long. It's very sad to see. But you spend a little time. The Blue Star Moms are always the escorts, so we are the companion when they're going through from table to table. And this particular year, this past October, it was not a guy that I escorted, but it was a young, I'm gonna say young man because he's younger than me, but he was sitting up against the fence. He'd already been through, but he was just observing, and there was just something different about him. Like I didn't know exactly what that was, but I knew that I was going to find out. And so I walked up. When I walked up, he immediately stood up, first sign to a mom. Okay,
Yeah.
and shook my hand and introduced himself. And the more he talked, the more I knew that he had a good education and that he was um, very well spoken. And I was drawn to him for a reason. But he was lot. You hear the story so often. Bad divorce, spiral. In the spiral, you crossed into some criminal things. Nothing. But you're living on the streets, so
Yeah.
you're subjected to that. Um, and he was living in a shelter in New Orleans, but he had a schedule and he had wash day on a certain day. He stayed in a regimented schedule as if he was still serving in the military. And so it was time to leave. It was the end of the day. And I said, look, here's my card. Reach out to me if I can help you in any way. I'd be happy to. And he said, I don't have email and I don't have a phone. And I said, why not?
Yeah.
Why don't you have an email? Because you can use the computers at the VA hospital or the library. Go get you a library card. You can have an email. And 2 weeks later, I got an email from him. And then 2 weeks after that, I got a phone call and it was him and he'd gotten a hold of a phone somehow. I don't know how he was provided that, but he was, whether it's a government phone or whatever they call this. But
Yeah.
anyway, through the years, and this is experience talking, I knew that if I started trying to find him a job, started trying to find him a truck, started trying to find him all the things, if I did the work for him, it would not mean the same. So what I offered him was I'm going to I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I think you should do. You do them, you come back to me and we'll connect the next spot. And so he is working. He has a job. He has an apartment. He has a bicycle for transportation because he can ride his bike through the streets of New Orleans to his job. Um, And I am just so incredibly proud of him. But it was the connecting of the dots, not the doing it for them. And that's, I mean, mamas have a tendency to make that mistake because we want to do everything
Yeah.
for our kids, but that is not what gives him the self-worth that he needed. He lost that. So when I tell you that our mission doesn't stop at our active duty, it doesn't stop when our kids get out. Our strongest members, kids, are veterans and have been in the workforce now for 10 years. It's and our chapter's not big. We have 50 members. We have 50 members that are spread out from New Orleans to central Louisiana. So
Quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. That's why that
that's
is
exactly right. And it's like, okay, you can't work the front lines, then what is your gift? If you can, you manage the email for our scholarship program. And we had a brand new mom whose kid just deployed, and she needed that. And so she's watching those scholarship applications come in, and that's one less thing that I have to worry about. So it's about finding someone's gift and helping them navigate those waters. And as seasoned moms like Janet and myself and so many of the others that are still serving in our chapter, my son's still active duty, but not all of them are. um, we're there for those moms. So I get to be the one that says, have your meltdown tonight. My advice is the same as Janet gave me. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to make sure that you've gotten up, taken a shower, putting your makeup on, go for a walk, whatever you have to do, because you're no good to your child if you get that phone call and mom's having a breakdown. That we're not serving our kids. And that's the idea behind this is they're serving, so we serve. And they must have known that in 1942, because they knew if they could raise the morale of the mothers, they could raise the morale of their troops. So it's the formula has not changed.
no. And
Formula has not changed.
I think it's amazing though. They knew something back then, and it funny, right? You take something from back then that worked, and it still works to this day. And you guys are doing incredible work. Because to be honest with you, a lot of the nonprofits that I have on here, I'll read some of the stuff that you guys do, but I want to know. I want to talk to somebody. I want you to tell me what you're doing. And I love what the Blue Star moms or mothers are doing. I love it because you're not only supporting other mothers out there, but you're supporting the veteran as well, which is double the work, which is, to me is
It doesn't
amazing.
stop. It doesn't stop, because those are our kids, and our kids are getting out of the military with those wounds. I mean, you cannot and I told you a little bit about this. As my son is preparing to reach his 30 years, because he's been in 27, this January 11th was 27 years. Incredibly proud of what he's been able to do. His first 10 years enlisted. He's now a lieutenant colonel. He's done. He is a man of integrity, and I couldn't be more proud. His brother, who still lives pretty close to his mom, is at every event. His kids are at every event. Like what Josh and I went through in the early years, he's still standing beside me. He's still saying, I support my brother. So it's a thing that becomes ingrained in the family. And when he transitions out of the military after 30 years, he's it's it's going to be difficult, and I know that. It's he may be ready for it, and I think that he is, and I think that he's got great opportunities ahead of him, but it's still different. And so that it doesn't end.
Well,
It doesn't.
I want you to give him a message from me. He has a community of brothers that know what that feels like, and they're here for him. So if he wants to get out and he wants to join this group that we're creating over here, and I'll tell you, I love what we're doing on this side as well. It makes me so proud to know that there's people coming into our group that had that feeling, like a Chris Lyon who got out and was like, it's tough. And your son's a lieutenant colonel, correct? One of the things that sticks out to me that Lyon told me was, it's tough and lonely at the top. Once you get up so high, you don't have anybody to talk to. He has a community here with Operation Intel Veteran Stories that absolutely loves when new people come on. We have a new guest that came, or a new person that came into the chat the other night, and he has shown up every single night. Mike, I'm talking about you again. He has shown up every single night because these guys are so awesome that they're texting him, they're messaging him on Facebook, they're adding him to Facebook to make sure that he knows that he has people to talk to. So if you don't mind sending him that message to me, I promise
Absolutely.
I would love to have him a part of the group. And if he wants one of the people from the dark side that he's on, we have another lieutenant colonel, but don't worry. I don't
He's been on both sides. So, he crossed over to the dark side. So
yeah, I always get.
That's what his Marines that he served with during Afghanistan and Iraq.
I still call a lieutenant colonel LT all the time. I'm like, hey, LT. He's like, I don't care what you call me. I'm like, you better be careful. Better be careful saying that.
That's exactly right. But it is a wonderful thing that you're doing. And the vision that you have, I can absolutely see it taking flight and becoming something really big. And when you bring these groups together, we're being a part of something that's bigger than just ourselves.
Exactly.
So that is what is going to change those numbers, and that's
what matters, right?
That's what matters. That is what matters.
It does. I streamed when there was one person in the chat room. I streamed when there was 3 people in the chat room with the vision of making a difference. And I think that's why you started was to make a difference and have people that actually supported each other. And it goes back to what we were talking about before. When you put the veteran first, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So
everything else is going to fall right in place. So it is definitely work that needs to be done, because we're not in.
You just lost some there, but
we're not in a time of combat right now. So
Yeah.
the funerals that we are attending are the majority are suicides.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't mind, we would love to have those families here as well. They have a support group on this end as well. If they want to come on the show, whatever it may be, we are here to support. And this isn't just Tim. This is the people in the groups too. I think when we worked.
I see it, because I get on just so that I can read all y'all's comments. I love to see the back and forth between you guys, and this is what it's about. Yeah, they are here for each other, and it doesn't matter where you live. The miles makes no difference. So, and the fact that you're going to get to meet up with Nick after 20 years is just amazing this summer. So Louisiana, I hope we treat you right.
Oh.
And, yeah, you have a whole bunch of moms that are willing to, like we're going to feed you.
Yeah.
So I'll leave hungry, but
I hope Nick's ready to drive. That's all I gotta say. I hope Nick is ready to drive me around.
that's right. It'd be like driving Miss Daisy.
Yep, I'll sit in the back and everything. I'll just
Yeah,
clap my
that's
ass.
it.
But well,
Well,
listen.
we have some great people here in the Baton Rouge area. Our we don't even have a major base, and we are 100% military strong.
Oh, you
I
can
mean,
tell.
yeah, it is, and it is definitely when these groups started coming together that you could see it change. You could see the flowers start to blossom, and when you do that, it empowers you, right? So our Secretary of Louisiana Department of Veterans Affairs, JAG lawyer, Air Force Colonel,
Yeah.
um, young guy, probably the same age as my son, or not much older, and we were at a funeral of a Marine who came home by suicide, and I walked up and just said, you don't know who I am, but I want your direct phone number, not the one that gets routed through your office, but I need your personal cell phone number because I need to be able to get in touch with someone that can make a difference if there's a crisis. And he just said, "Yes, ma'am."
Yes.
Like it was never, there was nothing, there was no arguing with that,
Yeah.
like we're here and we're not going anywhere. So it is, it's fulfilling to us as well. I mean, it is, we're still channeling energy and we're still supporting moms who have kids deploying. Never forget that we still have skin in the game. We've got 2 on ship right now and 1 that is leaving out in April. So those are we've got my nephews in Africa right now. It's our kids are all over the world,
Yeah.
and just because the media doesn't tell you about it, then that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So
We all know that.
to change the narrative. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, listen, Denise, before I let you go, what is the next event that you are having, and how can the community be a part of that if they want to be?
So our next big event is our fun. Well, it's the Socks of Love, but we're limited to the number of guests that we can invite to the War Veterans Home because of the rules that they have
Yeah.
to follow there. But our next big event is our fundraiser, which is the Red, Rock, and Blue. It's all about rock and roll and softball. I mean, it can't get more
American than that.
cannot, So we all come together, the Cajun Navy, the Odin Sons, combat vets, and we just all pitch in and we raise money for each other. And so that's the next big event. But watch for Memorial Day. And look, I get it. I know that it is the beginning of summer. And I know that everybody wants to head to the river and everybody wants to do all of the things. And by all means, go do that because life is for the living. But if you've got to pause and remember why you have the privilege to do those things, um, and then go and do it. I promise you that our Gold Star families want that for you more than you want it for yourself. But you have to pay the respect where this respect is due. And so that's why we're not quiet. We make it loud. You cannot be any louder than 11,000 flags in front of the state capitol.
I love that.
It's breathtaking. And please visit our website, bluestarmoms.net. Please go to our Facebook, Blue Star Mothers of Louisiana, Chapter 1. Our photos are phenomenal. Our photographer is Grant McCurdy. Grant lost his brother, um, a Marine in Afghanistan, and Grant also served in the Marine Corps. So I tell everyone that the photos that he takes of our events is not through the lens of his camera; it's through the lens of his heart. And he's just a wonderful guy, and he captures some of the most amazing photos. So please go look at them and share them. Use them as your, your cover. We don't care. Spread them all over the world, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the word out as far as it will reach.
Absolutely. Go give them a like on Facebook, guys. Make sure to make sure to reach out to them. And if you are going to make a donation, make it to one of these nonprofits that are grassroots, right? So listen, Denise, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you and learning.
Likewise.
I absolutely love.
I have a new friend, a whole new community of friends.
You do. We love you. You know what? You, Books for Boots, and Be Our Soldier Outreach, some of the best 3 women I know. I mean, you 3 are amazing. I've absolutely loved having all 3 of you on here. And it's just so neat for me to sit here and say they work so well together, and they're feeding into each other's communities, and they share each other's stuff. It's just amazing stuff. But it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, getting to know your mission at Blue Star Moms. But not only that, getting to know you as a person as well. We will connect those dots while you're up here in Columbus. I'll start working on that here pretty soon, and I'll reach out to you, okay?
Sounds great. Look forward to it.
All right, Denise. Well, thank you so much for tonight.
All right. Yeah, good night.
Good night. All right, guys. You know, it blows my mind. It truly does. And Nick, just so you know, I seen the car seat comment. That's rude. Not gonna lie to you, that hurt my feelings a little bit. That hurts. Anyways, no, it's just so that was a really good interview. First of all, the January 11th thing, it's eerie to me. It's weird. It's a sign to me. I believe in signs. It may be weird. I don't know about you guys, but I do. The other thing is I found a lot of similarities in Blue Star Mothers and what we're doing. They're doing it for the mothers, a support group for the mothers that are supporting their veterans, whether that be loved ones or whatever it may be. And we're sitting here. I'm short. I'm not short. 5'8", average height, Nick. But we're both working at the same thing, and that's the one thing that I'm trying my best to do here is, I don't know, build something where we can support each other. And I think this is a good bridge. When you have a platform where, it's nothing but veterans being there for each other, but then you have these nonprofits coming in there that are doing great work, and they're supporting these veterans. And I'll be honest with you, I'm excited to see what 2026 is going to bring, because I think we're going to be able to do a hell of a lot of good things. We're going to be able to touch a lot of lives, and we're going to be able to touch and save a lot of lives as well. And when you put things all about the veteran, it's powerful. It really is. The thoughts that are going through my brain right now, just about all the things that we have accomplished already, not just Operation Intel, but these nonprofits, it's incredible to me. I'm looking forward to this year. I hope you guys are as well. Listen, guys, Tonight was amazing. Denise is a great person. Go visit their Facebook page. Give them a like or a follow on Facebook. Great people. Every one of these nonprofits are amazing organizations that are doing hard work. And Denise hit the nail on the head. Volunteers giving out their time. Time is the most precious thing that we have. And these volunteers are giving up their time to put in the work for us, put in the work for the soldier and the mothers. They're just amazing groups. If you know of any nonprofits that you think should be showcased on this show, or if you are a nonprofit that just want to come on the show and tell everybody about what you've done and your mission and be a part of the community, please reach out to me. I will tell you, spots are starting to run out, so definitely get a hold of me. I want to make sure, and this won't be I don't think this is going to be the last 22 and 22 that we do. It's just way too powerful. So, I hope you guys love tonight's show. I'm loving doing these for you guys. The last 3 days, it felt like I didn't do anything whatsoever. It felt like something was missing. So I'm loving these shows. I'm loving doing these. I'm loving meeting new people. And I can't wait for August to make Nick drive me everywhere and get fed some really good food. But not only that, meet some incredible people. Listen, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks for everybody that's tuned in tonight. I hope you guys are loving this. We will see you tomorrow night. Have another really good one. Actually, I have a really good one for you tomorrow night. You guys are going to like this. This is a little bit different. If you're a veteran out there and you're struggling, make sure, please, please, please listen to me. If you know of a veteran that's struggling, tune in to tomorrow night's show. It's going to be beneficial, I think. It's going to be a little bit different than what has been on the show so far. But I think if you know a veteran that's struggling, or you are a veteran that's struggling, tune in to tomorrow night's show. Share our content. Share it on your page. I make events every single day for, usually it's 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. But make sure you're sharing that because, again, you don't know who may want to listen to it. Tomorrow night's a big show for us. Like I said, it's a little bit different. I am excited about tomorrow night's show. So, yes, and first responders. Mac, Casey, first responders, please, please, please. And I know you two are big into that community. Make sure you add that in there. First responders to tomorrow night's show. I think you guys are going to love it. So, if you're a veteran out there, know that you have a community here at Operation Intel Veteran Stories that absolutely loves you. We want you to be a part of our community. We care about you. We understand what it's like to feel isolated and all alone and not know the next steps. None of us do. But the one thing I can tell you, we may not know the steps, but we're better together. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. I love you guys. Good night.
Real heroes, real stories, real impact.